you, Steve.
I've got frowning people, so I'll just explain myself.
I've got a couple of questions for Deputy Commissioner. Just following on from what Jeanette said there, you said when it comes to a Section 60 citywide, that decision will be up to you and other people when it gets to the significantly worse. Now, how do you measure that? Do you measure that in terms of how many deaths? How much worse has it got to get?
Actually, wouldn't that might be one factor, but the other factor in looking at citywide would be what's the distribution? Is it happening everywhere, in every part of London, on a regular basis?
But we just heard that if you do it in one borough, they will just simply possibly move over to the next borough.
Well,
so perhaps
with respect, that's not what I heard, and that's not my policing experience. Gangs can, yes, but gangs will move in a pattern that we understand. They will move from one area they know to another. They're not likely to move to an area of London they don't know. They are very territorial. So that's why we use Section 60 the way we do.
So that would be one factor you said. So what other factors would you be taking into consideration? Because obviously it's something that's crossed your mind, hasn't it?
Well, certainly. I mean, again, we have... I mean, I do feel that we have to be very sensitive in talking about these figures and these murders. These are all individual tragedies, and I don't want to be painted as being heartless and quoting the figures to it, but we have to remember, so for example, if you look at the total homicide picture so far this year, 45% has been in the black African Caribbean community, that's how we're breaking it down. 45% has been in the white European community. So it's not, I think London is now getting the picture and the media is getting the picture. This is all happening in black areas with black gangs knifing each other, and that is not factually true. So we've had a number of domestic abuse murders, we've had a child murder in the last, and I'm not referring to the tragic case in Romford, I'm talking to an infant being murdered. So there is no point in putting a Section 60 in this. If you get, therefore, a flash of a homicide in Sutton, for example, and it happens to be, and I am making this up scenario, in Sutton, and it is a murder by a woman who has just given birth, is suffering from postnatal depression, can't cope, and smothers her child out of what she is thinking is misplaced love because she doesn't think she can look after it, then there is little point in putting in place a Section 60 to deal with that. So we have to look at the individual homicides to say, would this be assisted by stop and search and a broadening of stop and search into Section 60 where we don't need reasonable suspicion to stop someone?
Okay, so, sorry, I don't mean to be laboured about this, but given, therefore, what you've just said in the various instances you've used, it's almost certain that there will never be a citywide Section 60, because there'll always be a very good example or reason as to why not. Can I just
say that that's not what I just said, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you... Okay,
continue. Go on.
Second question. Can I ask you to comment, Deputy Commissioner, on Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe's idea that there should be a knife crime czar? What do you think of that?
My personal opinion is that more oversight, more intelligent contribution control is always welcome. I think the question and the balance is, would that bring it? Or would it simply confuse the scenario at the moment? What I see is, speaking frankly, a Home Secretary that summons Chief Constables and the Commissioner today to a meeting. You're holding me to account for what we're doing. I'm sure similar things are happening in most urban centres around England and Wales at this moment in time. I think Sarah Thornton today has asked for a COBRA to be convened regularly to look at this. We've just heard the Deputy Mayor supporting that idea. I'm not entirely clear what a knife crime czar would add. Should it be a knife crime czar or should it be a homicide czar? Again, the question is it a nationwide?
What's your instinct and what's your
My
feeling?
instinct, personally, seeing as you're asking, is I'm not sure what it would add. I'm not sure what that would add. My view is the grip is there, and I don't know what a individuals sitting outside the existing structures would actually add to that.
We've got the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister, you know. Sarah Thornton, the Mayor, has written to the Prime Minister. It is, you know, yes,
Well,
a national
just
grid
keep
does
to
need to
this-
be taken, but
that's
that's the
maybe-
job of the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister.
I think we got that.
The
Go on.
point is that when you have a former commissioner saying we maybe need a knife crime czar, when you have the current commissioner saying she wouldn't rule out the army, and this kind of stuff, can you not see, Deputy Commissioner, how people are quite justified in thinking that actually you haven't got a grip of the situation at all, despite what you say? That in fact, if you have to create some kind of sinecure position outside, or indeed if you're talking about bringing the army, what it really means is that there is actually no leadership there where it should be coming from the police, surely.
Sorry, I'm not the one that's saying we should create a sinecure position. I thought you were.
No, these people, you have a former commissioner saying maybe we should have a knife crime czar. You have had your boss saying that maybe we should have the army, or she wouldn't rule it out. The impression it gives is one of instability and lack of leadership. Can you not see that?
No, I don't see that. I don't
You
accept
don't?
that premise at all.
You don't
Not-
feel
not
that
for
for
one,
people
not
in
for one
London?
second. And I thought I was quite passionate in my explanation of where the grip lies and the commitment from the senior position of the Met all the way through the Met on violent crime. And I don't see. I think the public are rightly concerned about levels of violence. We're all concerned about levels of violence. I don't believe that they think the Metropolitan Police is sitting back ignoring it.
I think that's responded to that point. Have you got any more points, please?